we've really only begun to recognize that the discriminatory treatment of people with disabilities can raise a lot of significant constitutional issues over the past couple of decades. And this recognition went hand in hand with the shift in thinking about disabilities as primarily a medical issue to thinking about disabilities really as more of a civil rights issue. If a person's disability is seen primarily as a medical issue, then the primary focus is going to be how do we take care of that person in their need, right? How do we protect them? How do we cure them? It's a focus that led, in the 1800s to institutionalization of people with disabilities so that we could take care of them, but it also led to segregation of people with disabilities. And it led to a view of disability rights as sort of a welfare issue. How do we take care of these people who need so much care? And along with that sort of notion of welfare is this notion that, well, if we're going to be giving you all this care, we can manage you more than we manage other people. And that management then led to things like living together in segregated communities and living under restraints and with rights taken away that we wouldn't accept for the other people in our society. Under the more modern view, though, people with disabilities have begun to demand that their disabilities be recognized also really as social issues. People with disabilities came to see themselves starting in the 60s, in the civil rights movement, in the women's rights movement. People in the disability rights movement started to see themselves as a minority group in a society that's really structured around the norms of the majority, the non-disabled. And many of the obstacles to full integration and participation in society aren't really the medical issues that are raised by the disability, but instead they're social norms that discriminate against people with disability. For example, the building that's built with stairs at the entrance instead of the ramp, that's what stops the person in the wheelchair from going into the courtroom. It's not the fact that the person in the wheelchair can't use their legs. Or a social stigma, right? An irrationally discriminatory view of a person with disabilities, that might be what hinders the person with Down syndrome or cerebral palsy from getting the job, not an actual inability to do that job. So this shift in how we think about disabilities, as that began to occur, some of the ways that people with disabilities were treated differently from others began to be seen as discrimination and began to be challenged as violations of civil rights rather than sort of welfare issues. And we started to recognize that there were constitutional issues that were involved.